How is this even being allowed to happen? Our own people, homeless, sleeping in the subway system, but illegal people crossing over the border given free room and board? Man, let's get into it. Man, I'm so angry at what I'm seeing here. They are wasting the taxpayer money. So now there's an announcement in New York that Mayor Adams is going to be giving out $53 million to 500 families to use as pocket money, whether it be for food, diapers, because if they don't want to eat the food or like the food, they signed a $432 million contract with a food provider, and now they're giving an additional $53 million? What the fuck is going on? Meanwhile, these bastards are here and they're beating up our cops. Like, New York is livid right now. Absolutely livid.
Why aren't they in jail right now? They brutally attacked a New York City police officer and a lieutenant. Our criminal justice system is upside down. It fails every day.
And you know who's to blame for all of this? Not Trump. It's all those people who voted for the people who are currently now in office. This is all your fault.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate this opportunity to highlight to my colleagues what exactly is happening in New York City as a result of Joe Biden's manufactured open borders policy and the crisis that is created in terms of a migrant crisis in New York City. This morning, a lot of New Yorkers woke up to the news that 2 of our NYPD officers were attacked by a mob of migrants. It's outrageous to think that individuals who came to this country and claimed to be innocent asylum seekers would attack our police officers. That disrespect is unbelievable. But sadly, it is not the only time we've seen crimes like this taking place. Now, let's remember, the individuals that are coming through the southern border are paying thousands of dollars to the drug cartels to be smuggled here. My mayor is further incentivizing this by offering housing, food, health care, education, legal services, laundry services, you name it. The taxpayers are paying to house those individuals who attack those police officers. But that's not all we're seeing happen. Let me show you a few headlines from recently. All in New York. An illegal immigrant bites off police sergeant's finger after a DUI, driving while intoxicated, bust. 4 migrants arrested for stealing more than $12,000 in goods from Long Island's Macy's. New York City migrant pickpocketing teams are the newest headache for the NYPD. Asylum seeker accused of killing another at Randall's Island migrant shelter. A migrant woman arrested after slapping an NYPD cop. Migrant stabbed by girlfriend in a possible love triangle. And migrants are behind the boom in New York City's red light district. Eric Adams, Democratic mayor, says. Democratic mayor is also saying that this is destroying New York City. We're seeing New York City struggle to pay for this crisis that Joe Biden, again, once created with his executive orders, 60 policy changes he made from the Trump administration that made our border wide open. And Chuck Schumer and the Senate refused to do anything. They refused to pass our bill, H.R. 2, which would end this crisis today. I called ICE this morning and I said, I want these individuals deported. The ones that are committing crimes like attacking our police officers. Can we at least agree as Democrats, Independents, and Republicans that we should not tolerate that? But what also really concerns me is that we've caught hundreds of people on the terror watch list at our border. The fact that me, as a New Yorker from a post 9/11 world, that we have to question that there are 1.8 million people that have totally evaded law enforcement. In fact, Customs and Border Patrol union leader today told us it's probably more like 4 million. That's on top of the 8 million or so that have come paid the cartels to come in here and claimed asylum. We're not even talking about those people who turned themselves in. We're talking about the 4 million gotaways. We don't know who they are, where they are, what their intentions are, and that should concern every single person in this body, particularly the President of the United States. TSA is allowing individuals to board planes without identification, like the American citizens have to provide when they board planes. They can use a detainer, they could use a warrant for their arrest, all sorts of other documents that are probably produced, by the way, from fake identification that they use to come over the border. That is directly against the 9/11 Commission recommendations. And the last thing I just want to talk about is that New York City is complicit because they are not complying with detainer requests. ICE is trying to do some of its job when these people commit crimes. NYPD arrests them, they release them back onto the street. Why? Because they're forced to by the democratic policies put in place by my city and my state. That's unfortunate. So now, when these two individuals attacked the police officers, they were arrested, but they were released back onto the street. They weren't detained to be sent to deportation. In fact, now ICE has to try to go out and find them with no cooperation from local law enforcement because Democrats in New York have tied their hands. That is unconscionable, it is unsafe, and we have to make sure that the Democrats here, the Democrats over in the Senate, and the president stop playing with fire, because it's a dangerous situation. As you know, our ally in Israel is being attacked by terrorists. Iran is making threats against us that they're going to commit attacks against us on our own soil. We have them attacking American soldiers at 160 different posts in the Middle East. We saw 3 soldiers killed by Iran proxies the other day. And we're going to keep this border open like this? It's unconscionable to me, and I expect action from the Senate. And 1.8 million people, allowing them to continue to pay the cartels to come in, that's not border security. So we expect them to either pass our bill, Border Security Act, or pass something that's reasonable so we can have a real discussion and debate and seal this border and make our country secure once and for all. I yield back.
This is so outrageous that this is allowed to go on. What we're seeing is the left completely ignoring that there is a problem. But when they are confronted, they put the blame on the Republicans. This is not the Republicans' fault. It's really disappointing to see one of the greatest cities in the world be reduced now to being a third world country, because that's what it's turning into. I'm really glad to see that Black people are finally waking up to see that the Democrats don't really care about them or intend to help them. And they are pissed off that now their welfare is going over now to these foreigners, like this woman says.
Keisha, you were just on the street, and I saw your outrage. Yes. Why are you outraged?
Because this place was, like you said, it's free. It was a place for our children. Our children, I have 4 children, and it's sad, I have 4 boys, and we really don't have nothing in the community that's free for us. Don't get me wrong, it's great that they want to help the immigrants, but what about the Americans that are already here? What about the people that are already here that don't have homes, that don't have jobs, that are sleeping on the street already? These people came from the airport here, probably on boats, probably on buses, and probably all for free. Now they're getting stipends, they're getting what else? I need money for me and my kids, and I was born here. I know life is a struggle in itself, but this is not the answer to help them. Now it's going to destroy our community more and mess our children up more. This is sad. I know a lot of people don't even know about this. I came here last night with my aunt, saw a lot of stadies, a lot of police, and this paper wasn't there yet. They just did this probably 2, 3 in the morning when they brung them here. When everybody's asleep, that's when they brung them here probably. On buses, I saw New York plates. I saw Washington, D.C. plates. So they have that much money to come from Washington, D.C. to do this, to do that. Why are they not helping the people here first?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's a perfect example of the left leadership and the decisions that they made and the consequences that it had. So yesterday, they voted against a bill to automatically deport illegals who are convicted with DUIs. So this guy, Jose, he's an illegal with 4 deportations and 3 DUI convictions. Last month, on his 3rd DUI incident, he killed this mother and her son. Now, had he been deported on his first DUI, these 2 would have still have been alive. You tell me, why are we saving these people? And also, how is it that this guy got behind a wheel? Does he have a license? How is it that you have illegals who are driving without licenses, without registration, without ID, committing crimes, and nothing happening to them? Just going off scot-free? But then you have Americans who are being punished for even the slightest thing. Like, you hear the news about the guy who sat outside an abortion clinic and was singing peacefully. He got 11 years jail time for doing that. Honestly, I think we have our priorities messed up, and I think more people need to wake up to see that the people who are in charge are not for the American people, because they are stealing our money and rewarding this lawlessness and destruction of our society.
It's all over on the other side of the border and on our side of the border. And we find them with the folks that we pull over and stop that have come into this country illegally. So once again, I'm here to remind you that the information that the mainstream media feeds you is what's false.
You don't touch our police officers. You don't touch anybody. Thank you, everybody.